Commodities guru John Embry from Sprott Asset Management is with us right after this. Stay with us. We often talk about them in a bunch, but our next guest is bullish on the precious metals, bearish on base metals. John Embry is Chief Investment Strategist at Sprott Asset Management. Great to see you.
My pleasure.
Let's talk about, first of all, that split. What is the fundamental reason for separating them?
Oh, it's very simple. I mean, gold and silver at this stage of the game are monetary metals, and all the rest of the commodities are industrially related. And I'm not a long-term bear in base metals. I'm just a short-term bear based on the fact that I think we're in considerable demand destruction. At the same time that there were some significant positions, I believe, held by levered hedge funds in London and the United States that are being unwound. As you know, I mean, the hedge fund business, particularly the leveraged ones, are just getting slaughtered.
John, when will that be over? When will the margin calls stop being a major factor in daily trade?
That's a very good question. I think it's happening so fast that I would hope it's going to be over sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm really reluctant to make hard and fast predictions today because we're dealing with a situation that we've never seen before. I mean, we've never had this much leverage in the system, and it's been amped up by derivatives. And now that it's coming the other way, I mean, it's very different. And the authorities have a huge task in their hands trying to recapitalize the banking system and getting this thing moving in the other direction. But time will tell.
Now, there was a sense that a lot of base and precious metals and every commodity has been affected by the inflow of capital from ETFs and hedge funds, and that really did increase the sort of speculative element of them.
Yes.
Having said that, copper below $2, assuming China doesn't go to zero, at what point do you look at it and say, well, we're going to get growth one day, and this isn't a bad entry point?
Well, that's a good point. Like, I mean, you're getting down, I would think, break even on coppers. We're getting pretty close to it now, I mean, because costs have gone up so much. But things can often go through break even in the short term.
Yeah.
I mean, gold and silver are already there. But so consequently, I think that we could see a spike down, who knows how low. But I think a longer-term copper price would probably be a floor, ultimately realistically, would probably be in the current area.
And so buying maybe a base metal producer, too soon to start thinking about that?
Well, the problem is that the base metal producers have got, the base metal producers have done really well because they were able to put some fat in their bones, whereas precious metals producers have never made any money in this cycle to speak of.
Yeah.
Now that it's come back hard, I think they're getting so cheap. If the company's really well, financed and it has a low quartile cost mine, yeah, as a long-term investment, I mean, this is the time you get into these things when everybody else is fleeing for other reasons.
Let's talk about gold and silver,
Sure.
and especially gold. People who say gold really should be doing better than it is now, and that actually becomes a justification for not buying it. It's not doing what it should be doing in the crisis, and therefore I don't want to own it.
That is a wonderful analysis because that is exactly what the guys who are driving the price down are trying to create. That's the mindset that they're creating. It doesn't work, so therefore keep away from it.
Right.
And they're able to control the price quite easily in the paper markets because the paper markets are so huge in relation, and the guys, the central banks and their bullion bank accomplices, I mean, they've got a lot of power and a lot of money, so they can overwhelm the other side. But what's happening is that the physical supply is diminishing dramatically. I mean, it's getting harder and harder to purchase gold and silver through traditional avenues. You can't get it in coin shops to any extent. You can't get it through your banks. They're getting really, really constricted in supply. That, to me, is the reality. The paper stuff's just kind of the illusion that's creating this, what you just referred to.
Now, the problem, of course, for investors is that the paper market is the one you got to play in for the most part. It affects the price. So how will that resolve?
Well, that's an excellent question because I was just reading and thinking about that. What will have to happen is that people that are on the long side of the paper market, and say on COMEX, are going to have to call for delivery. And when they call for delivery and there isn't enough gold there to meet those that call for delivery, the game changes. It switches to the physical market.
Why don't they do that?
That's an excellent question. I think we're close.
You think that people will start
I think that is probably going to be the event that changes the perception. And I would not be, I mean, it may be the December contract. There's suggestion that something may happen around the time of the maturity of the December contract.
Would you expect them to do that out of fear? In other words, they literally want to take delivery so that they have gold in their
I would think
vaults?
that would be the best reason to do it, for the simple reason that I want physical gold today. I mean, that is the one thing you can trust. Paper gold, who knows? I mean, you may have a force majeure in the sense that people in the end will settle for paper, and you won't have the gold protection you think you have. You'll get your money's worth, but you'll have paper. So that, to me, is the reason why I think somebody's going to say, wait a minute, I want the gold.
In that transaction, people ask for delivery. Will a lot of people get crushed by that trade?
Yeah,
are there a lot of people who are short this market?
Yes. Oh, yeah, without question. I mean, the people who are short this market, I think there will be a force majeure, and they will have to settle in paper because they can't meet the requirements in gold. And that's, to me, is going to be, as I said, the seminal event that defines this whole situation.
We should talk briefly about some of the metals that are really trading off the global growth reduction and also the auto industry, platinum, palladium, rhodium. We've got a guest coming up on that subject. Is there any point at which you start to get interested in these again? Are the fundamentals so nasty?
I mean, you look at the chart of platinum, which looks like it's in a, just gone off the side of a cliff.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, you have to start looking at the cost of mining platinum, and we're getting down to that level. I sort of, in my mind, put platinum and gold, the economics sort of close together, and that's why I always thought gold was suppressed, because platinum was trading at over 2 times. Well, now platinum's come way back for demand reasons that you just cited. And now I think it's reaching a level that I would certainly be looking at it, because it is a precious metal. Yeah. And I think in the end, people will gravitate towards precious metals, and platinum will get called up in that. But the problem is in the short run, this demand destruction coming from the, what's going on in the automobile industry.
John, we're going to leave it there. Great to have you with us.
My pleasure, Amanda.
John Embry, Chief Investment Strategist, Sprott Asset Management.